All right, welcome back. This is continuation of our Tribe Tickets app, and we're adding code blocks to this. So once again, my teaching on code is nothing more than decomposition of the problem. So what I like to do is this becomes your checklist. Okay? So you guys can just go right down the page. Does this text box work? Okay, so if it doesn't work, then you want to get this text box to work. Does this BTN barcode right here work? Does this BTN teacher code work? Okay. Does your spinner work? Does this button here do what you want it to do? Does this enable button work? Does the count label and this counter label work here? You know, then you have button reset, then you have button voice and button buy and button submit. Do they work? So if they don't work, right, then you simply make them work by creating an event handler, okay, and seeing what works. Are you with me? And then you test it with your AI companion, your tablet, and you try it again, see if it works. Okay? This making sense here? So you guys understand how this is why you build your GUI first, and then you just use your GUI as your checklist to make your app work and make it do what you want it to do. So here we good. Here we go. So I've created variables. Does everybody in here understand how to create a variable? I have a variable for the student code. I'm just thinking about my text box, right? So I have a student code for a text box. I have a teacher code. So I just go over here to variables, and I initialize a global variable. Global means it can work anywhere inside the program. When you get into Java, you could also make a local variable, and it would only be local to the method that it's in. You'll learn that at another date and time. So these global variables will work anywhere in your program. So here I'm just initializing them, and you could initialize it like first name. You can initialize it to a string, and if you were going to do that, then you would just go to your text and get a string over here, and now student code would be a string. Okay. Which brings me to a good point. Is the student ID a number or a string? Anybody know? In this case, it could be either. Are you with me? Your 6-digit lunch number could be a string. A string is like your email address, right? It has all those special characters in it. It has an @ sign in it, and it has a .com. Okay, those are all special characters. Those are strings. So when you think of a string, you guys think of, think of what you sign in with, like usernames and passwords. Those are normally strings. Okay. So a string can be anything that includes numbers and characters. All right. So, your social security number, is that really a number or a string? You guys need to respond to this. This is a question. I know we're on video here, but you need to respond. Is your social security number a string or a number? And here's the kicker. Here's what I always ask myself. Are you going to do math with it? If you do math with it, it's probably a number. If you're not going to do math with it, what is it probably? A string. So what's your social security number? Number or a string? It's a string. Okay? So your 6-digit lunch number, is that a number or a string? Probably a string. Are we going to do math with it, Logan? No. So it's probably a string, right? So you know what? We could make these codes right here, really, if I really thought about this, we could make these be strings here. And when you guys see quotes like that, that is a string of characters. It's a word, okay? Or in our case, it could be a number. Okay, so the number of tickets, is that a string or should that be a number? Number of tickets. Are we going to do math with it? Number of tickets? Yeah, we're going to do math with it. We're going to add 1 to it. So that's math, right? Simple math. We're going to add 1 to it. So the total, is that going to be a number? Total number of tickets? Yeah, yeah. So it looks like right here we've got 2 strings. This is how you declare, you initialize these as strings. And then you're going to have 2 numbers here, okay? So the reset button works. So we're going to say, okay, global number of tickets is reset back to 0, and then we just display it. The spinner, what are you going to do here? You're going to set the number of tickets to however many you selected inside of the spinner, and then we're going to show it. Every time you select something, you want to show it. Okay, that's why labels are so powerful. And then BTN voice recognition. All right, so I'm just going to start my voice recognizer like we did before. If they say add, I'm going to add 1 to a ticket. Okay, they say subtract. If they say clear, I'm going to wipe out the tickets. What happens if they say reset? Let's do 1 for reset. Okay, so we'll go up here and morph this. And I got to scroll down a little bit. Make this full screen. Okay, so what happens if they say clear? Or let's go ahead and just duplicate this. We'll work smarter, not harder. And what happens if they say reset? We would probably want to do the same exact thing. Let's just duplicate this, and we'll display it. Okay? So you guys see what I'm doing here? If they say subtract, we're going to subtract the ticket off. All right, so it looks like I'm good there.